So a lot of people ask me, how do I do it? How do I do this, things of this magnitude? How do I not freak out? Was there a ton of security and were there special protocols? Yes, there was a ton of security. Now, was the rug mine? I don't know why this makes me want to go, this is something new, the Casper Slide Part 2. This is Part 2. Okay, let's get into it. Hello. Welcome back to Part 2 of my recap of my overall experience from front to back moderating Kamala Harris's 107 Days book tour stop here in Memphis. So a lot of people ask me, how do I do it? How do I do this, things of this magnitude? How do I not freak out? And frankly, I lean into it. I completely acknowledge that I am nervous. I completely acknowledge that I am scared. And I do that on stage in front of the audience. I walked out on that stage, told them about the running around incident, and that I was anxious and that I was nervous and that I was terrified. But I told them that I was doing it with them. We are going to have this conversation together.
First of all, they have me run 6 laps up and down stairs back there, trying to get here on time. And then I had to stand back there and wait. So I'm waiting on my heart to catch up with my brain right now. Okay.
I knew I was amongst friends. I also knew I was amongst my community. I'm in a room full of people that are here to see the VP who I voted for myself. Kamala Harris! I was able to introduce her. She came out there to Oh My Mama by Victoria Monet, and we had an incredible conversation. Because she came out to Oh My Mama, her team told me this ahead of time. I knew that that was a great opportunity to start the conversation around our mothers and the fact that they could not be there physically. And because they weren't there physically, because we had suffered great losses, both of our mothers had passed away. And the thought of loss made me think of the loss of the election, and any type of loss creates some level of grief. And so this is where the initial conversation started. The beginning of the conversation started with grief and loss. So I said, before we begin, I want to acknowledge something personal. We're both eldest daughters, another thing we had in common, whose mothers are not here physically, but whose presence still shapes everything we do, which is very true. Both of our mothers shaped the women we became. Your mother was a breast cancer researcher. Unfortunately, mine passed away from breast cancer. You've also experienced very public loss, political and personal. How did you take care of yourself after loss, and what would you say to women navigating grief or disappointment while still being expected to show up? She had an amazing answer. I won't give commentary on all of her answers, but I'll just read you the questions, just so you know where my frame of mind was when I came up with these. Okay. The South is the birthplace of civil activism. You've previously stated the power is in the South. Well, Memphis is a blue city in a red state and also happens to be the blackest city in America, with a major target on its back put there by our current administration with the mandate of ICE and the National Guard. What does power actually look like in a place like this? What do you say to people who claim they don't do politics, especially when politics is doing them? I didn't ask that question. That was one I skipped because she answered it somewhere else. When we spoke last week, you were intrigued by Friends in Them, which is the work I'm doing here in Memphis that's centered on community because I want Memphians to fall back in love with this city. My belief is community is the only way we resist chaos. What would you say are meaningful ways to be civically engaged at the community level? How do we build, protect, and equip our people in ways that truly strengthen our city? America's in danger, girl. The general public is well aware that there are many battles to be fought on a daily basis. Voter suppression, gerrymandering, misinformation, you name it. What should everyday citizens understand about what's actually happening to our democratic processes and systems? We're living in a time where misinformation spreads faster than the truth, and the line between the informed and the loud feels razor thin. How do we right the ship? And where do you find hope for the future? This I framed around the literacy issue of our country, the the struggle and true crippling that was caused by COVID. Um, what's our hope for these kids that are currently in school that essentially since No Child Left Behind? Because lots of us were left behind, okay? Without saying America deserves better, because that was her answer that she had given in lots of interviews. So I prefaced it to let her know, I know what you're going to say, but give me another answer. Without saying America deserves better, what are your thoughts on decorum? We're in an era of unfiltered politics. How do you maintain professionalism and composure in spaces that now seem to reward chaos? And final question. With everything you've lived through, loss, leadership, criticism, and historic responsibility, how do you protect yourself and stay grounded? Essentially, how do you do you? And I actually loved her answer for this one. Lots of people in the audience filled out a survey to ask questions. Her team selected the questions from the audience and gave those to me. I acknowledged the audience members that asked the questions. I had them stand up, let people in the audience find who they were and acknowledge them and that it was their question. And that was actually a really fun portion to create some banter. And I also loved how she always has had has always preached, you can't just pull the cover over your head while this administration runs amok. Like, you can't just give up the fight. She is very adamant about fighting fire with fire. She's like, you can't be that kid that's on the playground that's getting their lunch money taken every day. Eventually, you got to fight back. And I'm pretty sure I said something along the lines like, nobody's getting jumped around you. And she said, oh, honey, I'm from Oakland. It was quite the moment. But the conversation overall went incredibly well. Incredibly well. I think she had a good time. I absolutely had a great time. Everyone learned something. But the overall theme and my biggest takeaway from that conversation was, we have 3 more years of this current administration. We have another election coming up this year. Later on this year, we have the midterms. But there's so many things that we could be doing on a day-to-day basis as citizens, as community members, that don't involve elections. You should be doing all you can to create community. Again, it was part of my question. It was something I posted on Instagram. I wanted to take a journey with my questions. I also wanted to keep the audience engaged. I wanted to leave room for humor, but also talk about the seriousness of what's happening currently politically. Community was a major vein throughout this conversation. Finding community, building community, being community. Before I move on, yes, she's every bit of 5'4". I am 5'8". We both had on heels, so you could still see our height difference. But yes, she's 5'4". Was there a ton of security and were there special protocols? Yes, there was a ton of security, but nothing out of the ordinary, or nothing I would consider out of the ordinary being in the same building with the former vice president. But yes, a whole lot of security. Few people asked if I had anything to do with the stage design. No, the stage has the same design for every stop that I have seen up until this point. Now, was the rug mine? Guys, I didn't think about this until the day before the talk. I literally forgot I had a rug collection, y'all. I forgot. I mean, you try to remember all the things that you have going on while being told you're getting ready to interview the vice president. Like, I thought nothing of it. Didn't think about it until someone messaged me on Instagram and was like, "Don't you think they need a Carmeon Hamilton rug on the stage?" Well, if this isn't freaking genius, I wish I had thought of it. but I did not. It was not my rug. I don't know where that rug came from. It was taped down on the corner, so I was like, they are very careful with stage items. But no, it wasn't my rug. I wish it were my rug, but it was not my rug. I will not make that mistake again. But you guys can go buy my rugs at rugsusa.com/Carmeon Hamilton. They're beautiful. To wrap this all up, one, there's no recording for you to go back and see the whole interview. You kind of just had to be there. And honestly, I feel like moments like those, that is for the best. I didn't even attempt to make resolutions this year because on December 17th, I got this opportunity. And I knew then if I had things coming my way of this caliber that I hadn't even dreamed of, there's no way I'm going to limit myself this year. So what's next for me is gratitude. I do have a few things coming up related to work. I'm finishing 2 major client renovations. I have a big project in the works with friends in them. You guys are going to be hearing about it soon and invited to it soon. Overall, I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that my dad got to be in the room. I'm so grateful that my son got to watch his mom have her biggest career moment ever. Also, my best friend of 20 years who literally told me 20 years ago, almost to the day, that I was amazing and I was great and I was going to have a beautiful life and all of these things. She got to witness one of my career moments for the first time. This is the first time she got to be at anything.
Oh, phenomenal. You had fun. I had fun.
But overall, thinking about my mom and my husband, they are not here physically anymore, but I could feel them in every breath I took on that stage. I take them everywhere I go, and I know they are up in heaven and everywhere in the universe doing all the things to conspire for my greatness. They are my biggest advocates, my biggest cheerleaders. So who knows what things they spent around in order for me to get this. I mean, why not me though? For me, okay. I asked myself, why not me? Why not me? Why not me? And I feel like that's the audacity I want to move through the rest of this year with. So I just want to thank you guys for coming along and have been along this journey with me. You guys have been cheering me along the way, every step of the way. And I just thank you. I'm so grateful for all of you. If this is the opening chapter of my 2026, I know that the rest of this year is going to be something special.